Hi everyone, and welcome to Writing Reaction Mechanisms in Biochemistry. So first, let me tell you why it's really important that we learn how to write reaction mechanisms, because when we want to understand how enzymes work or how drugs are metabolized, we need to think about how electrons move in these molecules. So it's really important to be able to think about how we write and do reaction mechanisms. So this is a sheet that you have that was part of the assignment. It lists the 22 different reaction mechanisms that I'm going to have you learn. We'll see homes for all of these reaction mechanisms as we move throughout the entirety of the course, but we're going to spend the first 22 days doing these reaction mechanisms. So you'll generally have one reaction mechanism that's due every day, including the first day of class. So what you'll need to do is generally I give you the name of the starting material. And that's okay to come to me if you aren't quite certain what that molecule looks like. Generally, it's not a specific molecule, it's a functional group, so you can just kind of draw a generic molecule that has that functional group. And so for our first one here, it's reacting a carboxylic acid with an amine. So I want you to draw, and in this case, I don't tell you what the product is. I have a question mark there. So you have to figure out what the product is going to be and then draw a reaction mechanism that shows me how you'd get there. For the rest of these, you'll generally see that I do provide what the final product is, so it makes it a little bit simpler in that regard. But for this first one, what you're going to do is you're going to probably write this out on a separate piece of paper. This does need to get turned in via Blackboard, and so what you'll need to do then is after you handwrite your assignment, you can either scan it to a PDF using one of the Mercyhurst printers, or early on until you kind of figure out the nuts and bolts of that, I'm happy to have you take a clear picture of it with your cell phone, and then you can email it to yourself and then you upload it from there to Blackboard. But I need to have an electronic version because then I use a rubric within Blackboard to provide feedback. So a really important thing that I want to say for you guys is if you turn in these assignments, you get full credit. What will happen is I will still grade it via the rubric so that you get some feedback as to how you're doing, but simply doing the assignment and turning it in on time will earn you full points for these reaction mechanisms. So again, I call them BRMs, that stands for Biochemistry Reaction Mechanisms. So again, your first one is going to be due before we even start the first day of class, because that's a way for us to introduce the concepts of reaction mechanisms. So I hope that all made sense, and I look forward to seeing your BRMs.